Hello, my name is Nicholas Ward. I am a freshman at SEU and I'm 19 years old. And today I'm going to give a speech on my testimony. So I kind of grew up in church. My parents, when I was born, were starting to go to church a little bit more than they had. So I kind of naturally grew up in church a little bit. I went to preschool at my church, actually. But when I got a little older into elementary school, we were more of a kind of weekend to weekend basis. Sometimes we'd go, sometimes we wouldn't. But I do remember that when I got into sixth grade and I was old enough to be a part of our youth ministry at church, that my mom encouraged me to go. And so I ended up going. And the reason I stayed actually was because I liked a girl that was there. And so it was kind of how I got plugged into my youth ministry at first. And so I continued to go to youth ministry, and I was already a guitar player at that point. I started playing guitar in fourth grade. And so around seventh grade, I started playing guitar in the youth worship band. And so with the girl and with the guitar, I ended up staying in youth for a little while. And in my eighth grade year, I started going to a Christian camp that the youth group went to called Teen Valley Ranch in North Carolina. And so I ended up going my first year in seventh grade. Didn't really get a whole lot out of it, but my eighth grade year I went, and that really changed everything. I knew in my head that my sins were forgiven and that Jesus was my Savior and that what he did on this earth changed the world, but it didn't register in my heart. It was a head consciousness, not a heart consciousness. And so when I went to TVR my eighth grade year, I remember a preacher named Dr. Jamie Dew was preaching, and then on Wednesday night that I gave my life to Christ for real, and I felt it in my heart. And so after that, I really came home and I just indulged myself in my church back home. I indulged myself in my youth group and in my Bible. I started serving whenever I could, and I read my Bible a whole lot. And I really just fell in love with the local church and doing ministry and stuff like that. And so from that point on until my senior year of high school, I did everything I could to serve in my youth ministry. I set up meetings with my pastors and my church to really kind of indulge myself. And eventually my senior year of high school, I felt called by God to have a vocation in ministry and to go to a Christian university. So my search for a college began, and I actually kind of landed on Palm Beach Atlantic in West Palm, Florida. And I really enjoyed it. I liked it when I toured it. But unfortunately, my finances weren't going to work out. And so the day I found out that my finances worked out was actually the same day that I ended up hearing about an internship program through Southeastern in Lakeland called GCLI, Great City Leadership Institute. And so I was honestly pretty skeptical at first. I was still kind of wallowing in the fact that I wasn't able to go to PBA. And so, but I remember a few days later, I was driving in the car on the way to my chiropractor, and I felt like almost an audible voice of God saying, you should check out that Great City thing. And so I immediately texted somebody that I knew that was going, and I found out more about it. And then it was kind of cool how it just fell right into my lap right after my finances for PBA didn't work out. And so I ended up applying to GCLI, interviewing. I loved it. I loved the church. I loved everything about it. And so that's where I'm at now. I'm a freshman, and I'm in my first year of the Great City Leadership Institute program. Southeastern's a great fit for me. I love SEU and I love GCLI. I've been to an SEU chapel too. It's because a great thing about GCLI is the church is in Lakeland, the extension site's in Lakeland, so I can still enjoy a lot of what SEU has to offer. And so Southeastern is a great fit for me, and life's great. So thank you very much. My name is Nick, and this is my testimony.